Welcome to Lost Culture, your one-stop destination for everything pop culture. My name's Aston, and today we're going to do a review for the Power Season 3, Episode 3, I Got This on Lock. So the way we do this is, we go from character to character, then we give you threes up, three down, and I tell you who had the power move of the episode. Alright, so we're just going to jump right into it. So, with this episode, we're going to start off with a new character. This character's name will be Jukebox. Jukebox is basically a brand new character. This is the first time we see her. We see she's a highly decorated cop. We don't really understand what's going on when we open up the episode. We see a robbery going on. We see two young high school seniors, freshmen, college freshmen age. We don't really understand what's really going on. We see one is robbing the cops. Not robbing the cops. One is robbing the convenience store, and we see another one. Basically, I don't know, like he was just shopping, looking for some candy, and it turns out, they both were actually there together, but one just decided to go off the script and rob the little convenience store. So when that happened, we see Jukebox show up. Jukebox is obviously, like I said, a cop. We don't know what she's doing there. We see her walk in real calm, like. So obviously, she's not really worried about the situation. We find out that the convenience store owner actually already called the cops. So she has the younger teen shoot the convenience store owner, and then she shoots the teen that shot him and calls it in as if she was trying to protect him. And we see later on she took the security cameras, so they don't really know what's going on. And we find out that the actual robber that she killed and the robber that actually called her actually both worked for her, and she has some plan going on. We never get to know what her plan is going on in the episode, but we see she's related to Kanan. We see she's using her girlfriend to get information out of Kanan that Kanan won't give her. She actually has, it seems like she has Kanan's best interest in mind. We see when she doesn't want to give him medicine because she doesn't want him to get addicted to it. So when we find out that her girlfriend got him on the lean, she doesn't really agree with it. She's upset about it. We see when Kanan comes down the stairs and tell her, oh, she needs to let him go. She actually bucks up to Kanan, pins him against the wall, makes sure her little man can get out the apartment okay. And we don't really find out too much about her. We find out that she's a homosexual. Kanan's always been looking out for her since she was a young age. She was there with Kanan when he caught his first body. She knows ghosts. She knows about their past. The one thing that caught me off guard is when she was pressing Kanan about Sean, that she was actually okay with it, even after he kind of threatened her. But she was okay with Sean being killed by Kanan, like it was nothing. I don't know what kind of family dynamics they had going on, but like in my family, if something like that happened, it would be a much bigger deal. It wouldn't matter the circumstances. At the end of the day, that's your family, and he just threw his body out. Like whatever happened to him happens. Like he didn't even care or have any remorse about it. He has a little bit of remorse, but not really any. So now that we got Jukebox out the way, let's move over to Julio. Julio didn't have that much camera time this episode. He had one small part. We see him. He's messing around with the hookers that they offered him in episode 2. She's a nice little bad hooker. She pretending to be from Korea, but she's really from, I think he said Fort Lauderdale. And she's just doing lines of coke like it's nothing. So when Julio tells us to slow down, we find out, hey, this coke is weak. Obviously, Julio supplies the person that gave her the coke. So he found out the coke is weak and it's stepped on, and he lets Tommy know. And that's really all we have this episode with Julio. So let's move on to Greg. So Greg is out here acting as crazy as ever. Greg out here following Ghost anywhere. And he's not even hiding really good. Greg had to be the worst hide and seek player of all time. I mean, he doesn't even try to blend in. He doesn't try to hide at all. And when we see stalking Ghost, we see Angela actually catches Greg. He lets her know, I don't think you're going to tell Ghost because you're going to be afraid if he's going to kill me or not. and you can't go to the boss because you're with the boss. You still sleeping with Ghost. So I don't know. I feel like things are going to get much worse before they get better with Greg. I don't know what he's going to get into or how far he's willing to go, but we know Greg is still he's still pretty sure that Ghost is the supplier, and he's there. He wants his man. He's going to get his man. He wants to get his rep cleared. He wants everybody to know, hey, I'm not what Angela made me seem to be. But I feel like this is going to get much worse for Greg. Then, yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets better for Greg. So, who we're going to move on to next? We're going to move on to Keisha. So, with Keisha, we see she actually brought Tasha in all the way in now. Tasha's officially doing her books. Tasha, she doesn't really know what Tasha is up to. She doesn't understand why Tasha brought Holly around. She still doesn't like Holly over the earring incident from season 1. And she basically tells Tasha if anything comes up missing, she's just gonna whoop her ass. Like, if anything happens, she's gonna beat Holly's ass. So I, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen with Keisha. Like, obviously, like, she just hears all the ideas that Tasha comes up with, and she likes it for the most part. Like, she understands, oh, it's gonna be more money, and she's not really questioning whether the money is gonna be legal or not. She knows that. I'm pretty sure she knows. Or she does. I don't think she knows about Ghost and Tommy's actual original business. I think she just knows, oh, Tommy was in business with Ghost, and he knows about business, so it'd be a good partnership. But I don't think she really knows how deep Tommy actually gets with the drug dealing business and things of that nature. So hopefully we see that turn out a lot better for her than it did for Tasha. And only time will tell with her. So next we're gonna move on to Tasha. Mom, we just move on to Tasha. So Tasha's here. She's teaching Tommy and Holly about the laundering. We see she gets upset when she finds out about Tariq. And I personally think Tasha is wrong this episode because even though, because I understand she's trying to help out Tommy and everything, and she's trying to look out for Keisha, like she's helping Keisha get more money at the same time, but keeping Keisha in the dark. Keisha can't get arrested for the incident, but we've just seen this like in real life. In Patti LaBelle, with her son was like laundering money through her business. They shut the whole business down. So even though she's not going to be involved in anything illegal, she's still going to end up losing her business if anything happened to Tommy and her. Like, if the books come up, if they do get audited, we know the whole business is going to get took out. So Keisha's therefore, her business is all gone, and now she has to restart from the ground up, all because she was doing a favor for her best friend since her best friend got left, and it came back to bite her. If it does, it's going to come back and bite her in the ass. So I think she's wrong for not at least letting Keisha know what they're really doing in that aspect. So what else? When Tariq gets caught with the gun, so I like the way she handled it. She stepped up. She keeps her ear to the ground about what's actually going on in school. So when the other kids get in trouble, she actually kept tabs on it. She made sure she knew, what her punishment was, what his punishment was. When other kids did violent crimes, when somebody was stealing money from the school, she knew about it all. She kept tabs about, they didn't get expelled, they didn't get kicked out, they got to stay here. And yes, his crime was much worse than the other kids. Like, bringing a gun to school is retarded. And I don't understand why is she cleaning up Tariq's room? Tariq is grown as hell. Tariq should be cleaning up his own room, first of all. There's no reason that she should be cleaning Tariq's room at the age he is. So she needs to stop babying those kids, especially Tariq. He's obviously out of control right now. He's definitely a troubled teen right now. She needs to make sure he gets in some counseling. I know she said he's getting counseling now to stay in school, but it's like too kind of late. And she can't really blame Ghost the way she did for the way Tariq is turning out. There's a lot of kids who suffer like divorces and they don't bring guns to school. They're not stealing guns. They're not. They understand like yes, it's a transition between our household, but they understand like they can't just go off the rails because their parents are getting divorced. So yeah, even with like the other dog, like Raina, you don't see her out doing crazy things or anything. Her getting in trouble. She's still blooming in school. She's still doing her plays. But we see Tariq is out here just out of control, doing whatever he wants, and something really needs to be done about that because he keeps going down that path. He might be the next one to get killed. Yeah. I feel like it's either Tariq or Tasha or Holly. Those are three I see may not make it to the end of the season, but I'll go further in Tariq when I get into Tariq. So another unsurprising thing is we get to see Tasha and Holly are actually bonding this episode. We see, what do we see? We see her laughing and joking about when they got pulled over. We see them drinking wine together, and we actually see like Holly kind of taking interest inside like Tasha's life and whatnot. I like to see that. I like to see that they're actually getting stronger, but she should really keep an eye on Holly. But so that's really all that happened. Oh, and then again, Tasha basically takes a step back with Ghost, lets him know that the kids are no longer allowed around Angie. They would not be leaving, like they cannot be around Angie at all. They would not be in the same house as Angie for a while. Well, she doesn't really say for a while. She basically just say point blank, she's no longer going to be able to be around the kids. And honestly, it wasn't really Angie's fault. Like it was her fault that she left her gun out. Like she wasn't did leave it out, but it was her fault that her gun wasn't secured. But at the same time, her gun was in her room, in her closet, and she's not used to having kids, and she wouldn't think that her boyfriend's kids would do something like that. So I really don't blame Angie for the gun. I know a lot of people are gonna be upset about that. Like, yes, it's Angie's fault. She should have put it in the vault. But at the same time, he shouldn't have been in the room. Like he knew that's not his room. Like I said, Tariq is just out of control at this moment, and she really needs to sit down and talk to him. Well, both of them do. We see even when Ghost try to do it, the same effect. But that's really all I got for Tasha. Now we're gonna move on to Tariq. So Tariq, we see Tariq is out here stealing guns. He's taking the gun to school. He's flaunting the gun off to his best friend, letting him know like, oh, I had to bring it to school because my mom was cleaning my room, which is, like I said before, like there's no reason his mom should be cleaning his room. He's like I think 8th grade or a freshman, one of those two. There's no reason his mom should be cleaning his room at this age. She's babying him still, and he needs to grow up. He needs like I don't know what he needs. He needs like a whooping or something. But I know if I did something like that, oh my God, my mom would not have no chances with me. And I don't really like it, but we see when he's asked about why he actually has the gun, he blames Sean's death, which is kind of messed up because we know him and Sean are in two different situations. He's never seen the streets. He's never even seen the hard part of life, unlike Sean. Sean is actually, even though Sean was in that life, he wasn't really in it, but he was raised around that life, and Sean grew above it. Sean went to school. Sean played sports. Sean, when he came back, once he got injured, he came back, and the only reason he was around it is because when he was choosing to be around it, even though like Ghost was trying to keep him separated from it, he still always found some way to get back to it. But there was no reason for Tariq to have a gun at the same time. Like Tariq lives in the suburbs, and there's no reason for Tariq to be around that. But I see Tariq is only going to continue to spiral. We see when he's talking to Ghost, he's like completely disobeying Ghost. He's disrespectful to Ghost and Tasha. When Ghost asks him for the phone, he just like no. Like, he looks at him crazy. Like, I'm not giving you my phone. And we see, I forgot what Tasha said to him, and he said something crazy to her, but we see he's only getting worse. There's no really getting better for him. We see he was disrespectful last week to Angie. Now it's just going further to his parents. They can't even reach him anymore. Another thing, I didn't like that Tasha blamed it on Ghost. Like, oh, it's your fault that he's acting like this. And you can't really do that. Like I said, he's old enough to where he knows the difference between right and wrong. He's going to do whatever he wants to do when he wants to do it. So, yeah. Now we're done with Tariq. Let's move on to Kanan. So Kanan, whoa, we Kanan had a nice little. He's a much bigger role than he's been having the last couple episodes. We see Kanan. He's up in DC now. He's all burnt up at the beginning of the episode. Like, he wasn't getting out the bed. He wasn't eating. Only thing he cared about was his medicine. We forget to find out that he's staying with Jukebox, and him and Jukebox's relationship is like it's really tight. Like, he basically didn't raise her, but once she got kicked out, he took Jukebox under his wing. He made sure everything was good for her. He didn't really judge her about her situation. You know, when she came out to her parents, obviously she was kicked out of the house, and Kanan never really cared about her being a lesbian or whatnot. One thing even though like we see Kanan threaten her, we see like he still loves her, but at the same time, he told her like, "Hey, he picked Ghost over me, so I had to kill him. The same thing you did." Basically telling her, "Look, when I get better, I'm gonna have to kill you too." And she just like okay with it. Like, I don't understand this relationship, this family bond. Like, Kanan and Jukebox are on like a whole nother scale to me. Like, they're okay with killing her family, and I know it's probably part of the drug game or whatnot, but I feel like that's cold blooded. And they're a cold blooded family. And we see he's still trying to figure out what Jukebox is into. He's trying to get involved with Jukebox, whatever business she got going on in the score. He wants to be a part of it. He doesn't really care about. He doesn't really care about getting back to Ghost right now. Like, obviously he wants to get better. We see near the end of the episode, he's walking again. We see he's cleaning up his skin like her girlfriend told him to do. And I want to know if he knows that she's kind of using her girlfriend to play him, get information. And I want to know to what end is Jukebox doing that for? Like, what reason is she actually using her girlfriend to get information from Kanan? But only time will tell with that incident. And we seen something from Kanan that I didn't think we'll see this soon. Kanan actually admitted to killing Shine. I personally didn't think we are gonna get to a point where he's gonna admit it, maybe like to Ghost and the people of that nature, like higher up. But I never thought he'd admit to, oh, I killed Shine, to like family members. I thought he was just gonna let her run with, oh, not Kanan, but Ghost killed him. But I felt like only reason he came clean about it was to show, oh, I'm that weak. I didn't let Ghost kill him. I killed him, to show his dominance, to show that he's still strong, to show that he's still with the shits or whatnot. Like, basically, that's what this whole episode was, to show that even though he was injured, he's still with the shits. He's still back. Kanan's gonna be coming back with a vengeance. If anything, this episode basically like certifies that Kanan doesn't really care about much. Kanan's about his money and about basically getting his revenge back. He wants to take over the drug game. That's what he's gonna do. We haven't really found out if he's mad at Tommy or not, or if he's mad at Dre. We just know he's really only mad at Ghost right now. He doesn't like people picking other people over him. Basically, he has either you with me or you with them. He doesn't agree with Jukebox being a cop. Like he told her, you no longer black, you blue. Even though she's a dirty cop and everything, he doesn't really fuck with it. Like when she said, "Oh, whatever you did to her, she follows you and look up to you." He's like, "Nah, she wouldn't be a cop if she looked up to me." So he doesn't really agree with the cop aspect. Doesn't really care if she's dirty or clean. As long as she's a cop, he doesn't really agree with it. Which I don't really understand because, like she said, now that I'm a cop, I have access to other things. Like I know when certain things happen, I can do certain things. I have more means given to me as a cop than if I was just a regular street dude. And I would think Kanan would know that, knowing like he was at one point with the top of the food chain. I would think he would have people like cops or whatnot on payroll so he can work around the system. But obviously not. He don't really agree with that. So now that we're done with Kanan, we're gonna move on to Holly. So Holly, she finally admits to stealing the earrings. It wasn't really a secret. We all knew she stole the earrings. Tasha knew she stole the earrings. She was just waiting, basically, to hear her say it. So that's basically the beginning of them forming their friendships. We seen Holly helps Tasha out with the, oh, this is my babysitter when they get pulled over later on. They're laughing about it. What I didn't mention is with Tasha, Tasha just pulled the accent out, and we found out Tasha's really, besides her singing, she's always been into like acting and things like that. So maybe we'll see more of that come out. Maybe we'll see her coaching Raina a little bit more with Raina's her school plays and everything. But as of right now, it's really just a little side story that don't really get too much information about. But Holly is one of the foulest people in the story. Like we see them but getting buddy buddy with each other. We see her smiling on her face. We see her. She's trying to get information from Tasha. Like she got information about where Ghost actually lives at, where he's staying at. And then she tells Tommy, "See, now you know where he's staying at. You can go and kill him," which is super messed up. Like I still don't understand how she thinks she's gonna learn everything from Tasha and then just push her out. Like if all their money is gonna be tied into Keisha's business, there's no way she can actually push her out without severing that relationship. Now they're going to go build a whole new relationship up. So good luck on that. I don't really think she thinks everything through right. I think she only thinks at the short, like, oh, if I get this information, we can do this. I don't think she actually thinks long term with things, and she should really think a lot better about this. Like Tasha obviously already built one like empire, so she's not really gonna be pushed out again. And only reason she was pushed out last time is because Ghost tore the whole operation down. So I don't see how she's gonna do it this time. But only time will tell. Let's get over to Tommy Egan. So Tommy's basically ignoring Ghost. We I'll miss one thing with Holly real quick. Holly is pregnant. And she hasn't told Tommy. We see she's pushing Tommy like, "Oh, you gotta protect me, and you gotta kill Ghost." But it would have been much better if she would have told him what's really going on. So, yeah, which is only going to be bad news for Tommy. Like I don't see Tommy. Tommy's really emotional, so I don't know how he's going to handle this. We know he's a good uncle, but I don't know how good of a father he's going to be. So let's get back to Mr. Egan. So we see he's ignoring Ghost. We see he's out here doing regular like his coke business. He's still obviously the shipments aren't full yet. They're still working out the issues with the pipeline and with Lobos. Lobos again is MIA in this episode. We don't get to see him at all. But maybe later on we'll see him. Maybe next week we'll see him. But even with Lobos not being there, he's still like a looming threat in the background that everybody's afraid of. Like, oh, Lobos is gonna kill us if we don't do what he wants us to do. So Tommy doesn't really seem like he's not really in a rush. We see him playing video games. We see my favorite part about Tommy's episode is actually him stepping up for Tariq. We see when he get the phone call for Tariq, he just shuts everything else down. Like when Holly was trying to talk to Tommy, he doesn't really care. He just ignoring her. Like I don't want to talk about it. I want to play my video games. But once he see Tariq is texting him, we see he goes a whole nother like level. He gets serious. He gets a lot. He gets really concerned, and he's out the door before you. The next text. No, he sends two texts. He sees, oh, Tariq's in trouble. Tariq left. I'm stuck out the house. So now I'm here for Tariq. And I like seeing a different side of him. We always get to see Tommy doing things with Tariq, but we never see them go to like this level. We never seen Tariq in trouble or anything. But in the earlier seasons, we get to see when Tommy's waiting for Ghost. He's actually playing with Tariq. He's taking Tariq home when Tariq's not supposed to be with Ghost, when he snuck to see Ghost. And I really like that. We don't really get to see his relationship with Raina, but I'm assuming it's still the same. We get this. Well, maybe last season we did. I remember he calling her baby girl, and they had the whole speech about her being baby girl. So I like to see that Tommy is actually still there for the kids, even though he's upset at Ghost, he's upset at Tasha. The kids doesn't have anything to do with it. The kids are his nephew and niece, and he still loves them as if nothing ever happened with his parents. And that's one thing I think Tasha needs to learn with Ghost. Like, even though you're mad at Ghost, you can't take out your feelings on the kids. Like, oh, I'm mad at Ghost. This should never happen. So now you can't see the kids. Mistakes are going to happen. Relationships are going to end. But at the end of the day, you guys are still there for these kids. And that's what should be the most important factor. It should be for the kids. And we see Tommy knows that. I wonder if that's going to pass on to like Tasha at any point. Another thing is Tommy is too emotional. I think with Ghost using Tariq's phone might have actually pushed Tommy over the edge. So that by Ghost might have been Tommy actually deciding if he's going to kill Ghost. Like that might have been what the deciding factor. Like, oh, now I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to kill Ghost. And I like how he didn't tell Ghost, oh, yeah, Lobos is here to kill you. Lobos, I saved you from Lobos. I like how Tommy let him keep that in his head. Like, yeah, I saved you. Wasn't for me, you would be dead. But another thing Tommy did when Ghost mentioned when you mess up, hey, it's life. Everybody's messes up. And you know, obviously he trusted you when you guys were working together to a nice degree because you guys were partners. You guys built the whole thing up. And first thing Tommy just heard was when I mess up. That's the only thing he heard from the whole conversation. Instead of we need to work together to make sure each other is safe. Only thing he heard was when I mess up. And that right there pushed him over the edge. Like I think Tommy might have it in him now to kill him after that conversation. But that's gonna be an episode when it comes down to that. All right, let's move over to Angie. I haven't talked about Angie yet. So when we get to see Angie, Angie's out looking for a new apartment. She spots Greg, but she doesn't tell Ghost, which I think was a bad idea. We see Ghost isn't really, because Ghost didn't have like the guy inside killed. So I think she still thinks he did that. Obviously, she still thinks he did that. So she was scared to let Ghost know that, hey, if I let you know about this, she thinks Greg might end up dead, which might be a good and a bad thing. It's going to blow back on everybody. So she's hoping that Greg just gets sloppy enough to get caught on his own. But I think it would have been better if she told Ghost. And then, because next time Ghost see him lurking around, Ghost is liable just to go crazy on him. And I think if he knew he was there, instead of finding out he's there on his own, it would have been easier for Ghost to handle it. But so with her not telling him, she's basically letting that go to explode on his own. And then she gets hurt when Ghost tells her, hey, I think we might have need to slow down with the kids. I'm end up spending more time at Tasha's house. So that hurt her. We see him getting in an argument with the gun. She tells him, "Hey, I would have had the gun locked up, but the kids came early." And then, which is kind of understandable. You don't want to see her just bringing a gun across the living room and put it in a closet. And then she have more incident. Then he really going to be inside that closet trying to get inside that safe once he knows what's really in there. And she tells him like, "Oh, it must be hereditary that father and son just goes through my stuff willy nilly anytime they want to," which was like was funny and pretty like hurtful at the same time. I love how she switched like the books, like switched the tables on him. Like, yeah, this is all basically your fault the way you raised your kid, which is true. He really shouldn't be going through their things, and she did what she could. Like, I personally feel like she didn't plan on him taking it. Nobody could have seen him taking it, but yeah. Another part where we see her looking for an apartment. She finds a nice apartment. She like notices, oh, I won't be able to afford like, even half this rent. So she expects James to stick up for the rest of it, which is understandable. Like they're moving on together. They're going to be building a family. So obviously, what's his is hers, and what's hers is his. So I don't really have any problem with that about her getting expensive things that she can't really afford on her own. It's part of a relationship, and that's like a normal thing of going to like the next level. And one thing I didn't like is how she put the papers up when she got in the argument with Ghost. And even though like I know a lot of people are going against the relationship, some people don't like it, some people do like it. I'm personally I don't mind the relationship. Like I said, as long as he remains James, I like the relationship with Angie because when he's James, Angie suits him better. She makes him wants to do more like legal things. She makes him want to stay straight and narrow. She helps him go to the next level. And like when he was with Ghost, obviously the best partnership for him was Tasha, but he no longer wants to be Ghost. He no longer wants that lifestyle. So at this time, I feel like Tasha's the best match. Not Tasha, but Angela's the best match for him. And they can't be going like back and forth. I know they're upset. She understands like, oh, I messed up, but his son messed up at the same time. I'm not used to like things like this. But like I said, that's part of a relationship. They're gonna have to bond. I don't think it's gonna be the end of it. Maybe next episode, James is gonna end up finding the little application for the apartment, and they'll talk about it, and things will get sorted out, and they'll actually decide to move forward with the apartment. So I don't really see that setting them back too much, but you'll never know until like next. I'm pretty sure it'll end up coming up next week. Ghost end up finding it. He'll be inside the little cabinet putting something up or looking for something, and it'll come up. So I don't think it's gonna be a big issue. It might be a little issue like beginning of the episode. It'll be solved by the end of it. So that's not really too much to worry about. So now I'm just gonna move over to Ghost. What do we see Ghost doing? Ghost. Like we see he wants protective detail on him all the time. Like he obviously understands Lobo's the threat. He doesn't really care about anything else. He wants to make sure he's safe because either he's gunning for Lobos or Lobos is gunning for him. And when he's not with anybody else, because he's not with Tommy anymore. We know Tommy's out hunting him. He has Dre with him, but we didn't see Dre this episode, which was actually surprising. He's actually one of my favorite characters this season. But so we don't see Dre with him. He doesn't really have Julio with him. So he's really on his own with his protective detail. And I like that he's actually starting to set up things, making sure he's safe, making sure the family is safe. We get to see how he undercut the competition. We've seen last episode, the competition stole his DJ. In this episode, he actually goes to their lunch or their dinner, whatever it was, and he talks to the lady, let her know, like, oh, you really don't want to do business with them. They're not really the best people to do business with as far as ethics. But, hey, you see it actually worked out for him later on in the episode. She shows up to his club believe it was truth. That's where most of the club scenes are at the truth. So we see her show the truth. We see her talking more. She's like, I you more on a personal level. When I got the personal level, I felt there was a little bit more flirting going on in that situation. So, hey, Ghost might have him a new girl. I'd like to see how that's going to turn out. Maybe Ghost get a third girl. I personally feel like Tasha might be getting killed off this season. So, with that happening, we know James is all about coming up with relationships that are actually going to help him build himself and whatnot. So, I actually can see him getting with her, especially since she owns the hotels and she's looking to do business with clubs and stuff. So I actually can see that blooming with that. And then she tells him she wants to see how his clubs are operating over the next few months. Not only True, but she wants to see the other two clubs, how they're functioning also, how the stats look on those, which is pretty typical for a business relationship. You never just want to jump in, even though you might like him better than other people, they might have a better product than he has. So he has to work that out. Now, we see Angie and Ghost, they're actually doing like couple runs, they're flirting, they're laughing. Last episode we seen they were struggling with the family life, his job, her job. We see them struggling. This week they're still struggling a little bit, but we get to see the better sides of it. We get to see them flirting. We get to see when they get upset and have arguments when the kids aren't around. They can actually talk it out without just like going to bed angry about it. So that's good. So we see they're actually living in a healthy relationship. The relationship is actually working out the best. Like we get to see Tasha. Well, we did get to see Tasha and Ghost argue a couple times last season, but we never actually see them sit down and come up with compromises or let each other know how they felt about the situation. So we see on that end, the Ghost and Angie relationship is actually a lot more healthier than the Ghost and Tasha relationship was. And then, obviously, when he asked about the gun, why she had the gun, she came up with the excuse, oh, I'm an AUSA agent, so technically I'm assigned a gun. I should have a gun because of her cases. And then we see it loops over to Tommy. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Basically, you're working on Tommy. Even though she's not working on Tommy, she's not even allowed to work on Tommy. So I don't know why that even came up. Maybe she's working on Lobos, but not Tommy. Maybe he thinks she's scared that Tommy's looking for her, or she knows that something happened to Tommy. But obviously nothing happened to Tommy. He found that out later on. We see Ghost actually comes clean to Tasha, to Angie. He lets her know, hey, I did get in contact with Tommy. I tried to get in contact with Tommy. I did go to his apartment. He doesn't see me. He's mad at me still because I chose you over him. So he lets her know, hey, I'm not drug dealing. I'm basically just missing a part of me, honestly. Like, I picked you over him. He's upset. And that's like really, it's a real thing sometimes, when you have to choose between like your best friend and your girl. That could be a hard spot to put somebody in. And like I said, he was raised 20 plus years with Tommy, so just to cut him off cold turkey, like, it's pretty bad. Like, he might really be feeling like he's missing a part of himself with Tommy not being there. Now, what else comes up with Ghost? Ghost used Tariq's phone to get in contact with Tommy. Like, we see Tommy turning his super uncle. He's there to meet his nephew, make sure his nephew's okay. And honestly, I forgot that Ghost took Tariq's phone. So when I saw like Tariq was texting Ghost, I didn't think anything else about it. Like, oh, that's technical, but Tariq was texting Tommy. I didn't think anything about it. Like, oh, that actually seems reasonable. I forgot that he got his phone took. I don't know how I did that, but yeah. So this scene actually caught me off surprise. So we see her talking. We see he's trying to bond. We see he's actually making headroom with Tommy for a second about, look, we got to keep each other safe. I know you've been protecting me. But Tommy doesn't really come clean about, oh, it's really me out here trying to kill you. But we see that we see Ghost actually hit on the head when he tells him once he's finished with you, once you've done what he's told you to do, or once you fail at what he told you to do, he's going to be after you next. Like, he's going to kill you after I'm dead. So we might as well just work together and get it figured out now. But like once he says when you make a mistake, we know Tommy's super sensitive. So as soon as Tommy heard when you make a mistake, not if, Tommy's off the rails again. And I feel like that's going to come and bite him in the ass. And I hope it doesn't. Like I said, I feel like that just gave Tommy the power to actually kill him. I hope he doesn't. I feel like it's going to happen. It might not actually kill him. It might actually have like more of a fight scene than like a shootout or anything. But we never know with Tommy. Tommy's kind of crazy. I don't see Ghost killing Tommy. Ghost cares about Tommy too much. Tommy actually cares about Ghost too much. So I see them get into a fist fight, but I don't see anybody actually dying from their feud. And what are my 3 ups, 3 downs this week? So my 3 ups and 3 downs is I feel like even though they showed it like Jukebox showed like, oh, he wasn't with you, he was against you, I don't feel like that would have been a real thing. I feel like it would have been more shock there, it would have been more disappointment there. As her nephew, she came into it like, oh, this is my nephew, I cared about him, or my cousin. But once she found out who killed him, it was like, oh, well, he deserved it. And I don't think that really should have been the reaction. I think it should have been a little bit more repercussions on Kanan's end for admitting to killing his son. Another thing I didn't like is Julio, like the Julio aspect. I get it, he was only there to push the story forward, to get this, so we can see the scene with the Korean gang. But I think like it could have been a little bit more there, which is probably going to bloom it into more. So that's, but hey, what did I like about this episode? I liked how we got to see Kanan go from not being desperate, but Kanan just being, I don't really care about anything, I have all my medicine, to actually seeing Kanan walking around again. I like to see he wasn't just back as Kanan we know. He came back injured, he came back hurt, his pride was injured, so I like that. I also like that we get to see Tommy being, like I said it earlier, we get to see a different aspect of Tommy. We don't really get to see too many sides of Tommy. Normally, we only see his street side, his like thuggish side. But this time, we got to see the caring uncle side of Tommy. I'm glad we get to see that. Maybe we'll see it further when we find out, if he finds out Holly's pregnant or not. We seen in the preview for next week Holly's struggling if she's really going to tell Tommy or not. So with that, hopefully, if Tommy does find out he's going to be a father, we get to see him being more nurturing towards Holly. That's the way he is, but I still don't like Holly, so I really don't care. And that's really it for our ups and downs. So for the power move this week, it has to go to the Korean gang. When the Korean, like, I don't know what it is about this episode, nobody really cares. Well, it doesn't really matter. Like, family is not really an issue here. It's all about the business. If you wrong us, hey, we gonna need our payback in some type of way. In this episode, we see the Korean gang father. He makes his son cut his pinky off for stealing from him. That's the power move of the week. That's really like, we all seen this scene in the season 3 trailer. For this trailer, we get to see the Korean guy like with the sword cutting off his finger. Now we actually know the context to it, which is pretty deep. And hey, that was pretty deep. I don't know if I can make my son cut his pinky off, but these gangs are pretty deep. And with that being said, for the preview for next week, we seen the Korean gang was actually doing a drive-by. I don't know, that's kind of weird for a New York gang to be doing like a West Coast type thing, but hey, you gotta diversify sometimes. And I want to know who they're actually shooting at. I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna be at Tommy. They're mad that Tommy snitched on him. If not Tommy, probably Julio, since Julio let Tommy know. And so we see they're going to start having problems within his pipeline. But that's been my episode. it's been my breakdown, my review of the Power Season 3, Episode 3. I got this on lock. Remember, leave a comment if you think I missed something that you think I should comment on. I'm pretty active in my comments. It might take me about 24 hours to get back to you, but I'll get back to you. Leave a like if you heard anything you like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Power Recap. As always, don't forget to follow Lost Culture on Instagram at Lost_Culture. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Saint_Aston. As always, stay lost, folks.